You know, it feels pretty wild to say, but this is really happening. Wow. I am 24 years old. I turned 25 in June 21st of 2022. And watching and being in the first recession of my lifetime, watching the first sort of government regulated sort of rug pull of my lifetime is very weird to see. And I don't know if there's anybody else out there in their 20s that feels similar, feels that exact same way, but it's crazy to see. Guys, we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about inflation. We got to talk about Luna, a stable coin, the third largest stable coin in the cryptocurrency market, getting rugged, and how the market's looking. Because we have a lot of new things to talk about. We got SPY under $400, which is ultimately bleeding off into things, and AMC equally feeling that pain. So before we get into that, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Trey's Trades, where we freaking talk fast and don't skip class. Like a profit by seminar. I'm not a financial advisor or expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the video. We got inflation data, and in yesterday's video, I was very straightforward. I was very honest. I said, if inflation is this, then that. I gave sort of a bullish and a bearish scenario, and the market tried its damnedest. It tried its absolute hardest to give us a bullish scenario, and just did not have any juice. I mean, really what happened is we stepped up to the plate, and they tried swinging at a ball that was coming straight down the strike zone. And instead, they just hit themselves in the nutsack. And this is really what you got. You got the price in right here, 8:30-ish time for the SPY. Huge price down, moves back up, tries to recover off of some of these levels, and just really can't do it. I mean, it's just too weak. You get this nice bounce back up. I thought that you would see a bounce to one of these trend lines, which is why I've got them drawn out here. These falling levels, downward pressure, downward pressure, downward pressure, downward pressure. It tapped right here. Tapped the top of this line and immediately rejected. So really what you got out of the SPY today was bad juju. There's no strength. And it really did try its best. I mean, you look at this on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, or the 15, or whatever you want to look at it, and just not enough strength. It formed up this head and shoulders, head, shoulder, shoulder, neck, broke the neck, sold off for the entirety of the day, and closed at $392. And this, to me, is bad. It's bad news. Because if stagnation of inflation is not enough, what is this telling us about the way that people are looking at inflation? Well, you can kind of look at it in a couple different lights. You can think to yourself, people think inflation is worse than is being talked about. I would probably be one of those people. You look at an apartment in New York City from 1920. You can pay $60 a month to get yourself an apartment, right? You want to take the bare minimum, the absolute bottom of the barrel. I mean, you're licking the breadcrumbs off the fucking carpet when you're eating it during the day. You can get a one-bedroom apartment in New York now for about $2,000. And this is as cheap as they come in New York City. Most, if you have a two-family sort of setup, like a parent and a kid, right? Two-bedroom. You're not in that ballpark. That is 3.5% year-over-year inflation for the next 102 years. It's just more than the goal of the Fed, and realistically, what is probably being reported. So it could say that. It could say, hey, inflation is probably worse than is being reported. Or two, it says that nobody has faith in the Fed. And to me, that is also a viable option. You sort of look at the way that the Fed has handled this entire situation, and they've flip-flopped a million times. And really the counterwave of that has just been trying to ride a lot of turbulence in an airplane. You know, you're getting on a sailboat and there's all these waves that just keep coming and coming and coming. I mean, Bullard from the Fed just came out and said they don't think there is a high risk for a recession right now in the United States. How long was it before when they said a recession is very likely? What the fuck changed in the last week? I don't know. Nothing that I could personally see. But here we are nonetheless, right? We got that flip-flop. And to me, people don't like it. People don't like the flip-flop. And on top of that, you know, if you really wanted to rub some dirt in the wound, Luna stepped up to the plate and said, hold on, boys. Listen, all right, you thought that the squid coin rug pull was as bad as it gets? Oh, no. Guess what? It can get worse. And Luna rug pulled almost all that it had in a matter of a few days. Look at this. Here on the right side of the screen, you can see a market cap in USD. On the day, 25 April 2022, there was a market cap of about $35 billion. In the matter of about a week, and the majority of this coming in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, you watch that evaporate. Thanos snapped into the Doctor Strange multiverse of madness, man. I mean, it's down to $269 million, evaporating 95% of its value in a matter of days. I mean, I was on Twitch yesterday, right? I was on Twitch yesterday, and I drew up this because what I called it was a limp dong. It's the limp dong pattern. You can see like the nuts here, right? And it's just kind of hanging. And this is where it stopped, where the tip is, obviously. And now it just looks like it's shooting blood. Maybe you're passing a kidney stone or something, but Luna just said laughing. It was just laughing and gave you some nice big fat fraud milk, man, and pulled itself. And the reason I want to talk about this in the first place, I'm not going to dive into the mechanics. I don't want to pretend like I know who the culprit is, because I see people saying it's Citadel. I see people saying it's BlackRock. I see people saying blah, blah, blah. Nobody knows yet, right? This is all speculation. This is all hearsay, whatever. But what we do know is that this is a form of fraud, and that Bitcoin was involved in this fraud. And if the third largest stable coin in the United States cryptocurrency market can get rugged like this, what can't get rugged? If you can't trust the United States equities market, if you can't trust the cryptocurrency market, if you can't trust real estate, as history has shown us, where are we at? And that leaves you in a situation where you really realize how sort of dire the markets really are. I mean, obviously people can make money. You see it happen, right? Retail investors make ends meet. They do whatever. They make good trades. They get into good buys, and they hold in the long term. But in the middle of all that long term, and I think why long term almost always works is because of things like this, you know, situations where regulating bodies, which are paid primarily by taxpayer money, don't regulate the taxpayer money. You know, they just allow these sort of situations to take place where we have an 8.3% year-over-year inflation. As we can see on our screen right here, April was 8.3%, where we have the Fed pretending that inflation doesn't exist for an entire year, where you have billions of dollars just being wiped out of existence. I saw something on Twitter today that in 2022, retail investors had lost in the realm of $20 trillion. That $20 trillion of value from the markets have just disappeared. And then obviously not all of that's retail investors, but a big chunk of it certainly is. And you just got weakness. So where do I think is the future from here, right? Where is the SPY going? Sub 400, bad, not good. That is an ugly thing to see. This rejection right here, really was hoping you would not see that. I really wanted to see it come up, maybe up to this fib level, because we've seen these sort of volatile days, especially right now with the market the way that it is, but not enough strength. Just not enough juice in the gas tank right now, and it broke. And where I think it's going to go from this break, 380, you know? 380, which is a 382 Fibonacci retracement. I'm taking this from the bottom of the COVID sell-off back from March of 2020. You've got potentially some life here. I think it'll continue to sell off down to that 380-ish mark. Probably get a nice bounce off of it. We will see. But every pop in the market right now, every nice little rip, I think is going to be followed by a fade. You know, I talked about this yesterday, but you look at Tesla having great earnings and selling off pretty much immediately after. You know, what is this? What's causing this? We already know. Pops and fades, no matter how good a company is. I remember this from the Wolf of Wall Street when I interviewed him. He said, in a bear market, nothing survives. And I'll finish off with, this, I'll talk about AMC's levels, but in a bear market, nothing survives. And what he meant by that was, in a bear market, everything gets hit. Everything can be sold by fear. And that's the narrative that we're seeing across the market right now. And this has affected AMC the exact same way, you know? You look at AMC right now, it broke a really significant technical level. So to top that off, this narrative is certainly being put into effect right now by short sellers, market makers, whatever it may be. And for the time being, are pumping it down, you know? Currently holding at $10.37. It's trying to hold this first little blue line that I marked off here on the chart. $10 is a huge psychological level for AMC. And while the bear market's in effect, there's two ways that you can look at AMC. or any stock for that matter. You can look at it as, holy shit, this is selling off into the shadow realm. Or two, I cannot control this bear market. There's bigger money than me at play here, and I have to try to absorb fear while it's pricing it. That's really it, you know? We got to look at these levels. If it doesn't hold this, you're looking at 890. That's what I got marked. That's what I got marked, guys. And it sucks to say, but I think there's just more red in front of the SPY. It's too weak. Too weak. Wasn't a good enough reaction. Couldn't break that. Continue to sell off. And so we have to stew in the shit of the bigger boys ahead of us. So give me one sec. So that's that, you know. We live in a crazy market, and that brings me to my last point, actually. My last point, and this is how I'll drive it home. We live in a really corrupt market and really bad system where you can rug pull billions of dollars of value and defraud potentially millions of investors out of Luna, where you can defraud people in Squid Coin, where you can have market mechanics that allow for naked short selling and 80% of a stock's volume to trade off fucking exchange, where you can have the Fed put you in a situation where the entire market is in their hands and not yours, the people who put up the fucking money, you know? Our market is sad, twisted. It's gotten pissed on, beat up. And every single time you take it, retail takes it, we all fucking take it. And the solution to this is not going to come from the people above us. It's going to come from us at the bottom of the pyramid, because at the bottom of the pyramid is the most support. And if that crumbles, everything from the top comes back down. Dave Lauer has been working on something for a while now. It is We the Investors. And I tweeted this out. I am going to be partaking in something that I think is really important and really cool. And I want to drive this home because of how important I think it is. Jay Brown has organized a space call. It's called Retail Day 100K. All are welcome. And what he's trying to do is get 100,000 signatures on Dave Lauer's We the Investors. And the goal of this documentation, this 100,000 signatures, is to get it in front of Gary Gensler's eyes, to put it on his desk, slap it down, and say, listen, 100,000 people think that there is a problem with the way that the stock market works, with the way that you govern and regulate the stock market, and allow situations like these to exist. And I'm going to be live streaming it. It's coming on May 21st, 9 o'clock a.m. I'll be live streaming that until we hit 100,000 signatures. If it takes 1 hour, great, I'll stream for an hour. If it takes a week, great, I'll stream for a week. This is something that we can tangibly do. We can tangibly control. We can tangibly change. And nobody else is going to do it for us. Legitimately, you know? I'm passionate about this stuff, man. I think, and I have thought for months since I've been here, a year and a half, that retail investors have the power to change the market. And right now it might not feel like that because the bear market is here. It's here. We're entering a recession. We're in a recession, frankly. And there's a lot of pain and fear. But nothing's changed about retail investors. We can still change the market. And hopefully this, helps what we just talked about. So I hope that I'll see you guys there. I'm going to talk about it more in the future. And that's what I've got for this video. So appreciate you all. I'm going to be live streaming on Twitch after this hour of Stock Talk. Ask some questions. We can go over some data, go over inflation, go over some charts, whatever you want to do. Twitch.tv/antijuicer. It's also in the description box down below if you want to check it out. Appreciate you all. Catch you on the next one. As always, much love, light taps, and peace.